Hey guys, Matt Scratch. So guys, I'm going to give you guys my UEFA World Cup 2022 World Cup predictions. So basically, before we go on to give you guys my predictions, I want to give you guys a quick explanation of how this works. So for those of you guys that don't know about this, how this all works. So basically, every group will have 5 to 6 nations in it, and basically every group, there will be every nation will be playing home and away against each other. And basically, the 2 nations that come out on top will advance further on the competition. So basically, the nations that do top their group, they basically get direct qualification to the World Cup, okay? The second place nations basically qualify for the round 2, and then the 2 best nations league group winners that did not qualify in the top 2 places basically qualify for round 2. And then from that round 2, only 3 of those nations will actually qualify for the World Cup. And so basically, 12 of those nations will compete at round 2, and only 3 of them will make it out. So basically, only 13 nations will be allowed into the World Cup, okay? So now that you guys understand how this works, I'm going to give you guys my quick predictions for every single group, guys. Now, remember, guys, there's going to be some shocks. I can guarantee you that. And I honestly believe that there might be some we disagree with. You know, I think this is going to be interesting. So I want you guys to share in your comment section below what you guys agree with and what you guys disagree with, okay? So we're going to start with Group A. We have our first group here, which is Azerbaijan, Luxembourg, Portugal, Ireland, Serbia. I'm going to say this right now. I think 3 of these nations will battle each other out for the top 2 places. I do think Azerbaijan and Luxembourg, they're not strong enough to compete for this. I think they're going to bow out quite early in the competition, and they might even get some blowouts, okay? So I think Ireland, for me, is a nation that I think will cause the most damage to both these Portugal and Serbia. However, I don't think Ireland have enough in it takes. I just don't think Ireland have the players, or they're as strong as physicality as Serbia. Now, I will say this, though. I think Serbia is a nation that I do think have underperformed at times. I haven't quite been impressed with Serbia, especially they haven't really lived up to expectations, in my opinion. However, they are, in my opinion, a better nation than Ireland, and I do think they'll nearly get second. As you can see, some of the key players for Serbia are as follows. You know, you got Luka Jovic, Milinkovic Savic, Dusan Tadic, Mitrovic, Kolarov, you know. So I honestly do believe Serbia will narrowly take second. However, I do think Ireland could easily get second as well. I'm still going to give the edge to Serbia because I think they're a little bit better of a nation. By the way, the qualifiers will actually begin tomorrow for you guys. So, yeah. Then first in the group I have is Portugal. I think Portugal is the best nation in the group. They're one of the World Cup favorites. They have an enormous squad of players. They have one of the world's best depths ever. They have a great coach, as in Fernando dos Santos, you know. And I just think that Portugal, with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, João Felix, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Anthony Lopez, Rui Patricio, João Cancelo, Nelson Semedo, Rafael Guerreiro. You know, I can go on and on. You can see right here. Let's go look at the players real quick, see if I missed any. Pepe as well. Ruben Diaz, of course, Diego Jota, Andres Silva, Eder, Bernardo Silva, Renato Sanchez, Rui Patricio, João Cancelo, Danilo Pereira, Pedro Neto, William Carvalho, Rafael Guerreiro, Nuno Mendes, Sergio Oliveira, Cedric Soares, João Pellermo. You know, it's so many players, man. There's so many players of this Portugal national team, and I do think they will top this group, you know, and I have them as one of the early contenders to win the World Cup, you know. So yeah, that's it for Group A. So Group B we have is Georgia, Greece, Kosovo, Spain, and Sweden. For me, this group, I think, is going to be more. I think this group is not as straightforward as people may think it is. However, I do believe that there's going to be 2 nations, I think, that are going to should at least get the top 2. Perhaps there's one nation I do think could maybe challenge for that top 2 spots, which is Greece. You know, Greece is not a nation that's easy to go against. You know, they're very defensive, very tough to break down. You know, I don't think Greece have enough firepower in the attack to really compete with both of the nations, with both Spain and Sweden, respectively. So that's why I don't think Greece will make it out. So I think Greece will probably maybe get third at least or something like that. Okay. Second in the group I have is Sweden. I think Sweden for me is a really good nation. I've been really impressed with Sweden. You know, they just called up Zlatan Ibrahimovic back to the national team. And I just feel like Sweden for me is a nation that is a tough nation to break down. They're not a nation. This is a good defensively sturdy team. And even in the attack, they have some great players. You know, you got the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Alexander Isak's been playing well for Sociedad. You know, you got Marcus Berg, you know, Emil Forsberg, Victor Lindelof. You know, you got Jordan Larsson, Robin Olsen, you know, got some great players for Sweden. I just don't think Sweden have enough firepower. I just don't think Sweden have the best squad depth to really compete for that first spot, which is the reason why I don't think they'll top the group. I think Sweden will get second. Okay. Now, first of the group I have is Spain. Now, Spain, for me, in my opinion, have been pretty underwhelming in the recent years, especially international-wise. They have not performed up to expectations. However, it is Spain after all. You still have to respect Spain. You know, this is still a great nation, you know what I'm saying? And I just like Spain, for me, they got some great players, especially in the winger position, you know. You got Sergio Ramos, Adama Traore, Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati, Robert Sanchez, Diego Alcantara, Brian Gil, Pedro Porro, Pedri, Jeremy Moreno, Alvaro Morata, you know. I just look at Spain, for me, the biggest issue they have is a striker position. I just think Spain, for me, if they can find that striker, that true number 9 that can score goals for them consistently, then I think Spain is a really good nation. I just think Spain, for me, their attack can be a little bit stale at times. Their midfield is still pretty strong, I still say. Their defense, I still say, strong. It's just their attack, they haven't exactly been that great. So that's the reason why I still going to give Spain the edge. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Sweden tops the group, because I think Sweden have some great players as well. I'm still giving the edge to Spain just because it's Spain, you know. Like, they got some great wingers as well, and I think the wingers might actually make the difference for them. Okay, so Group C, we have Bulgaria, Italy, Lithuania, Northern Ireland, and Switzerland. In my opinion, this group is this one could get tricky. This one could get tricky indeed, and I'm going to say, which is the nation I think could compete with these two nations? I'm going to say right now, it's a tough call. Maybe Bulgaria. I think Bulgaria is the best nation that could compete with both Italy and Switzerland respectively. I don't think they have enough, though, to really get that top 2, you know. Second of the group I have is Switzerland. I think Switzerland's a nation that's been pretty underrated. I think people need to respect Switzerland a lot. They have some great players, you know. This is a nation that I think is very similar to Sweden in the sense that they're not easy team to play against, very defensive. They're very counter-attacking team. And it's like, for me, Switzerland, they got some great players. You got, Granit Xhaka, Shaqiri, Sommer as well, Seperovic, you know. I just like Switzerland, for me, is a nation that on their day, they can't cause you problems. You know, I just don't think they're as consistent as we expect them to be. So I think Switzerland, for me, they'll just about get second. Okay. And finally, first in the group I have, it is Italy. I have been really impressed with Italy. Italy have been one of the most improved nations ever. Remember the fact they didn't even qualify for the World Cup. I think they lost to Sweden, I think, over 2 legs. And I think Italy, for me, is a nation that I think is a very good nation. I think they have massively improved. And I do think they have improved a lot. You know, I think with the new coach, Roberto Mancini there, I think Italy's have been really impressive. I've been really impressed with what they did. Look what they did in the Nations League group. They topped the group. I had a Netherlands, which I think many of us expect the Netherlands to top the group. You know what I'm saying? So Italy, man, they got some great players. You know, you got the likes of Ciro Immobile, Rafael Toloi, Giorgio Chiellini, Jorginho Moisikin, Stefan Al-Sharari, Insigne, Donnarumma, Barella. Barella's been really amazing for Inter. Verratti as well as Danilo, Mancini, Chiesa as well, Sandro Tonali. This is just a very good up-and-coming Italy national team. And I do think they might be a dark horse in the potential competitions, you know, like the Euros coming up and whatsoever. So I do think Italy will top this group. So I'm going to go with Italy to top this group, guys. So Group D we have, it is Bosnia and Herzegovina, Finland, France, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine. For me, and this group, I think there's 3 nations that will easily battle out, and that's going to be Finland, France, and Ukraine. Now, I will give credit to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think this is a good nation. I think that this is a nation that can cause problems. I don't think they have enough players to do that, though. So I think Bosnia will just about miss out. Okay. As for Finland, as much as I think Finland, we should respect them, they only did qualify for the Euros recently. And let's be real, the group wasn't exactly the most challenging ever. So I don't think they're really adept to really competing at this kind of stage. I don't think they're there yet, which is the reason why I don't think Finland will actually qualify. And I think Ukraine, for me, as crazy as it seems, I'm going to actually have them come out second. I think it's a nation that's been very underestimated. I think it's a nation that's been very good. They have caused problems for nations before, and I think their attack is still pretty good. You know, I look at this national team, Ukraine. This is a very small nation. You know what I'm saying? They get like Zinchenko, Yamurka Malinowski, Lunin as well. And I just feel like, for me, Ukraine's a nation that people will write off. I feel like people will write off Ukraine, and I do think Ukraine will cause some problems in this group. And I think Ukraine have a very doable task here, and I think this is their chance to really prove the critics wrong and get second in this tough group. As you can see, right, guys, they played well against obviously Germany, Spain as well. So Switzerland as well. This is not a nation that you can mess around with. So I think Ukraine, I think will get second. Okay, and first in this group, it's got to be France. I mean, France, come on, it's France. I mean, the reigning World Cup champions, of course, are going to top this group. France, they got the great talents of Antoine Griezmann, Kylian Mbappe, Olivier Giroud. Let's see who else. Conte as well. Mbappe, Griezmann, Giroud, Paul Pogba, Hugo Lloris. Camavinga has been emerging. Fekir Coman's been impressive. Varane, Lucas Hernandez, Ousmane Dembele's been recently called up. Benjamin Pavard, Anthony Martial, Kimpembe, Matuidi, Umtiti, Ferland Mendy, Alfonso Ariel, Marcus Thuram. I forgot about this guy. Dyer Upamecano has been impressive. And Domblé as well. There are so many players for this France national team. And I think they're going to I think they'll top this group pretty comfortably, We went to Group E. We have Belarus, Belgium, Czech Republic, Estonia, Wales. I'm going to say this right now. I think the two nations I think will qualify from this group are, I think there's like two clear-cut choices. Now, I will say Czech Republic is a nation that I do think can cause Wales some problems. However, I don't think Czech Republic have it in themselves. I don't think they're as good as Wales. And I think Wales will actually get second in this group. I think Wales have some great players. Like Gareth Bale, David Brooks, who's been impressive. Let's see who else they got. Ramsey as well, I think. Where's Ramsey? Yeah, okay. Gareth Bale, Ramsey, yeah, there we go. Daniel James, Mpandu, Wilson, Joe Ralden, Nicky Williams, Kiefer Mu, Ashley Williams, I could go on and on. This is just a good national team, and even though they don't score a lot of goals, they are very tight defensively, and I think they're going to get second in this group. Okay, and of course, first in the group, it is Belgium. Belgium, we know how good of a national team is. Their attack is insane. Their chemistry up top is insane. You got the big players like Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, Eden Hazard. Hopefully Eden Hazard will be fit. And then Moussa Dembele, Dries Mertens, Thibaut Courtois, Vincent Kompany, Witsel, Tielemans, Vertonghen, Vermaelen. I could go on and on. I will say this, though. I do think Belgium, for me, they're a bit sketchy defensively. I do think defensively they need some new players because, for me, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, they are aging. So I think that could be a potential weak spot, and I think Wales could maybe exploit on that. They could maybe take advantage of that. I still do think, though, Belgium, their attack is still insane, and I think they're going to top this group for sure. Okay? The next group has Group F. Now, this is a tough group. Let me just say this right now, guys. This is a tough group, and I might get a lot of stick in the comment section below for saying this stuff. However, guys, as you guys know, I am trying to be objective here, and I want to share with you guys what I think. So the three nations I think we can all agree is going to be Austria, Denmark, and Scotland. I think these three nations will be the nations that are going to be competing against each other for that top spot. I think Faroe Islands, Israel, Moldova, I think they're going to miss out. So Austria, Denmark, Faroe Islands, Israel, Moldova, Scotland. I think these three nations are not really good enough to qualify, in my opinion. And the three top nations, I'm going to go with third. This might... I kind of feel bad for saying this, but I kind of have to say this. I'm going to have to say third is Scotland. As much as I would love for Scotland to do this again, it would be insane. I still don't think Scotland... I don't think Scotland have that experience to do this yet. Can they do this again, man? I mean... imagine if they could, man. Imagine if they could. I wouldn't put it past them. I think they are more than capable of doing this. Guys like Robertson has been incredible, and whatsoever. And I just feel like for me, Scotland, I know they qualified for the Euros and all. It's just they did it on penalties, man. And I just think that for me, this will be too much of a task to do so. I do think they can do this, though. It's tough, man. I'm going to give the edge to Austria. I think Austria, for me, is a better nation. I think they're going to just about do this. You get like David Alaba there. Let's see, we got Sabitzer there as well. And I just feel like, for me, Austria is more of a complete nation. I feel like they have more of the experience and maybe just about the better players. You get the Arnautovic, Demir, Sabitzer, as I said, Karaka, So I feel like Austria, for me, will just about do this. However, I do think Scotland could do this as well. So I'm gonna say that's kind of like, I'm gonna give a slight edge to Austria, but I wouldn't be surprised Scotland do that. And then I'm gonna say Denmark first. And even that might also get tricky as well, because I don't think Denmark's a guaranteed shoe-in. Like I say, you got the big players like Christian Eriksen. Then you got the big players as in Poulsen as well. And I just feel like for me, Braithwaite as well, of course. I just feel like for me, Denmark's a nation that's like very similar to Sweden and Switzerland, that they're not an easy nation to go against, and they're a tough nation to break down. You got like Kasper Schmeichel is also there. I forgot to mention about him. Sean as well. And I feel like Denmark will just about squeeze past. But man, oh man, that's a tough group. That's a tough group to say. And I think anything can happen out of the group. Even Israel, man, I think they could actually do something there. So I'm not quite confident in saying that, to be honest with you guys. All right, we move on to Group G. We have Gibraltar, Latvia, Montenegro, Netherlands, Norway, Turkey. Another tough group indeed. And this is where I think we're going to get to see a lot of crazy stuff. For me, the three nations, I think the bottom three nations, like you see right, Netherlands, Norway, Turkey, I think they'll be competing for the European spots. And I'm going to say right now, third, this might be very controversial. I'm going to say third is Norway. Because even though Norway, they have been great and all, I have been impressed with them. This is still a young nation, and I don't think they have enough in their squad to really do this. I know they have the big players, Erling Braut Haaland, who could be the difference maker for them, you know. I just don't think Norway, for me, have the best all around. I just think that they're not complete in every single area of the department. They're not complete in fullbacks, in my opinion. They're not complete in goalkeeper. And I feel like their attack is still pretty good, so that could cause issues. You know, you get like Erling Braut Haaland, Martin Odegaard, Sorloth, who's been impressive, Joshua King as well, Burge as well. I feel like for me, Norway will, I feel like they might be able to do this. I'm going to say they won't. So I think Norway will agonizingly miss out. And I'm going to say second in the group is going to be Turkey. I think Turkey for me is a nation that's been a very respectable nation. Their defensive players are very strong in the unit. Kegas Under, Demiral, Kagaluri, Kabak, Suyanshu as well. And I feel like for me, Turkey will just about do this because I feel like Turkey for me have more experience. They're more of a complete nation. And I think they might be able to do this. However, as I said this before, guys, I think Norway could also do this too. So I'm going to give the edge to Turkey. I think Turkey will just about do this, guys. Okay. So I'm going to say Turkey just about makes second. And the first in the group is Netherlands. Even that is not even guaranteed as well because we see how Netherlands, they've been struggling under their new coach, Frank de Boer, who has not really been a popular choice by the Netherlands fans. They haven't really particularly liked him. And I do think Netherlands will just about top this group. However, I do think Netherlands will get some trouble. And I think Norway, Turkey will cause them issues for sure. You know, and maybe in other nations as well. So I feel like they're going to need to improve as a whole. You know, I feel like they're going to need more time together, and I feel like they're going to need to really massively perform in this because there's a lot of pressure on them. You got the Memphis Depay, Virgil van Dijk, Frankie de Jong, Weghorst, Matthijs de Ligt, Ryan Babel, Jorginho, Wijnaldum, Donny van de Beek. Because I think as far as talent is concerned, I think Netherlands have the players. It just for me, their attack is a little bit lacking in some sense, and I think they're going to need to really step it up here because there's a lot of expectations in the Netherlands national team after missing out on the World Cup last time around. Okay? Finally, we move on to Group H. We have Croatia, Cyprus, Malta, Russia, Slovakia, Slovenia. Another tough group indeed. This is where it gets tricky, man. This is the penultimate group, by the way, guys. So for me in this group, I'm going to say right now that Croatia, Russia, I think Slovenia is also a nation I think could easily challenge. I think Slovenia is a nation that I will say they will challenge both Russia and Croatia. I don't think they'll have enough, though. I'm going to say Croatia comes second. I just think Croatia, they've been on a massive decline ever since the 2018 World Cup. They haven't exactly been great away from home. They really struggled to get results. And I just feel like for me, their home form is what's really keeping them alive in these kind of competitions, you know. And I feel like for me, Croatia is a nation that I think they're talented. They still have some great players. You got the likes of Luka Modric still been there, and then get the guy Orsic who just scored a hat-trick recently. You know, Rakitic, I think he did retire. Vida as well. Then there's Perisic, Ante Rebic. And I just feel like for me, Croatia is really declining. I just feel like there's so many old players, and that's why I don't think Croatia will top this group. And I don't think they have been quite particularly great away from home as well. As I mentioned, Kramaric as well. As you can see, Brkelo, Budimir as well. So I think Croatia will just about come second. And I think Slovenia will also challenge them as well. I wouldn't be surprised Croatia misses out because I do think Croatia, they have a decline. I will respect Croatia, though, and say they will get second. First in this group is Russia. Now, obviously, we know what's going on with Russia. Russia has exactly not been the best period of state, you know, in the World Cup. I think they have been banned. However, the thing is, I think the ban is only if they can't use their country name. So basically, they're going to have to go by a different country. The players can still play, just they have to go by a different name, okay? So I think Russia, for me, they have been really impressive ever since the World Cup. 2018, they have been really good indeed. And I do think their World Cup run was not a fluke. I think it was a very respectable run, and I think they played very well. And that got the likes of Artem Zhuba has been impressive. Fernandez, Mario Fernandez, Golovin, Cheryshev. And I just feel like for me, this Russian national team, they have the core group of players to really do this. And I feel like Russia, for me, they have been really, really good. And I've been impressed with them. So I'm going to say Russia tops this group just about. And finally, we move on to the final group of the day, which is, of course, actually, there's one more group. Sorry, that was not the penultimate group. This is the penultimate group, and that is Group I, which is we have Albania, Andorra, England, Hungary, Poland, and San Marino. For me in this group, it's going to be 3 nations that are going to be competing for that 3 spots. I'm going to say England, Hungary, and Poland. And for me, I think Hungary will miss out. I think Hungary will miss out on direct qualification. They might be able to qualify as a Nations League winners based on their Nations League rankings. And I think they have some great players again, Dominic Szoboszlai, Gulassi as well. I just think Hungary, they're going to miss out. Poland, for me, I think will just about get second. I think Poland, for me, with Robert Lewandowski, Wojciech Szczesny, I think Poland, for me, is a nation that Lewandowski will have to carry. I feel like this national team, they have been good, and I feel like they should be doing pretty well, considering how good they are as a nation. They got some great players in the attack. And I feel like for me, Poland, they should be able to do this. You got Lewandowski, Milik, Piatek, Wojciech Szczesny, Zelensky. And so I just feel like for me, Poland, for me, it's just their attack for me is what's really worries me, is that if it's not Lewandowski, who's going to do it for them? So I feel like for me, they need Lewandowski to be at his absolute best if they really want to qualify here. And I think Lewandowski will put out some great performances. Got Fabianski as well, who's been great for West Ham, I believe. So, yeah, man, I think they'll just about do this. I think Poland will just about to get second. And finally, first in the group I have is England. England, of course, Gareth Southgate is there. I just feel like for me, England, the biggest issue I have with England is their selection. Are they going to select the right players for this kind of competition? Because for me, England should be walking over this group. This is just too good of a group. This is too good of a national team here. And I feel like for me, the selection of the players will be a huge issue there. And I feel like for me, is Gareth Southgate really the guy for the job? Because I don't know if he is, Because on paper, I think they have one of the world's best squads. Guys like Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jesse Lingard, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Mason Mount, Jude Bellingham, Calvin Phillips, Jordan Pickford, Harry Maguire, Raheem Sterling, Kieran Trippier, James Maddison, Jordan Henderson, Mason Greenwood, Ollie Watkins, Luke Shaw, Declan Rice. There's so many players for this England national team, and they get so many talented players. It's just, can they get the right players to blend together? And which I do think they will show up in this. And I think Gareth Southgate will get his tactics right. And I think England will top this group. And finally, we move on to the final group, which is Group J. And for some reason, we might have to do this again. So let me see if I could get this. Oh, God. So unfortunately, I cannot show you guys that. So we're going to, unfortunately, it's not working there. So I'm just going to show you guys from the Wikipedia. General, guys, the Wikipedia is pretty reliable for this. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go there. So Group J, let's start there. So Group J, we got Germany, Romania, Iceland, North Macedonia, Armenia, Liechtenstein. I'm going to say this right now. I think Germany, Romania, Iceland are going to be competing for those 3 spots. And I'm going to say third will be Romania. As much as I want to give Romania some respect for what they did, they qualified for the Euros, I believe. I don't think they have enough. I don't think they have enough experience to really do this yet. So I think Romania will miss out. And I think Iceland will just about make second. Even though they have not been on great form ever since the World Cup 2018, I still do think Iceland have some great players. Got like Sigurdsson, and I think Iceland for me is a tough nation to play against. And we know how good defensively they are. And their attack can be good at times, So let's go look at the Iceland thing real quick. Let's see their squad. So as you can see, right, guys, the current squad. So it's good. These are all the players I've been called up. You got likes of Sigurdsson, Koblenny, Sigurdsson, so a lot of players with this last name of Son, which is ridiculous. Victor Paulsen as well. So yeah, Rennerson as well. So yeah, I think they're going to just about get second. And the first group I have is Germany. Now, even though I have Germany top of this group, I don't think this is necessarily guaranteed because, like I said before, guys, Germany, for me, they have been underwhelming as recently. And let me just say this right now, guys. If Germany do not manage to top this group, that will be incredibly, incredibly disappointing. Because I understand that this Germany national team, they have not been great as of recently. They have not performed up to expectations. It is still Germany, for God's sake. They still have some of the world's incredible, talented players. And they got some amazing players. Joachim Löw is still there. And I just felt for me that Germany should be able to do this, right? You expect so much more from Germany. Let's go look at the Germany squad real quick. And I do think that Germany will top this group, However, I do think complacency could kick in for the the later competitions, Euros and World Cup respectively. As far as this group is concerned, they should be qualifying for this group for sure. Okay, so let me see their current squad. Okay, so as you can see, right, guys, Marc-Andre ter Stegen has been called up. Manuel Neuer has been called up as well. Some great players there. Rudiger has been impressive. Ginter has been there. Henrik Chan, Nicolas Sula, Jonathan Tah, Klosterman, Halstenberg, Ruben Gosens, Philip Max, Toni Kroos, Joshua Kimmich, Ilkay Gundogan, Leon Goretzka, Leroy Sané, Kai Havertz, Florian Neuhaus, Jonas Hoffman, Jamal Musiala. This is a great player indeed. He's been emerging. Just chose Germany recently. Florian Wirtz, Timo Werner, Serge Gnabry, and Amin Younes. So, as you can see, right, guys, it's a very stacked Germany national team. And I think Germany will top this group quite comfortably indeed. So those are my UEFA World Cup predictions. Let me know what you guys think about the comments below. Do you guys agree with my picks? Do you guys disagree with me? And so, you guys, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of disagreements in the comments below. And, and this is the point of the video. So this is for fun, guys. And I want to know what you guys think about the comments below. So remember, comment, like, subscribe, check out my description with Twitter, Discord, and my email. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.